Hey, what's up everyone? Dave here with another exciting tutorial, and today I'm going to talk about how to go from Character Creator to Substance Painter and kind of go back and forth between the programs. And I'm also going to show how to bring the skin from Character Creator into Substance Painter if you want to go on top of it. But first I'm going to show kind of a real quick back and forth workflow. Then I'll show how to do the skin. So let's go ahead and kind of dive right in. I'm in Character Creator. I'm going to go to all. I'm just going to go to the base. I'm going to grab this character here, double click. And now I've got that character in the scene, and I'm going to set that to the default pose. So down here, I'm going to go to restore bind pose. There we go. Now I'm going to set this to Substance Painter. However, I'm going to go like this. I'm just going to create a new folder on the desktop, and I'm going to call this CC to Substance Test. Okay. I'm just going to test it real quick. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this. I'm going to say export character to Substance Painter. And then I'm going to click on CC to Substance Test, click open. Okay. And I'm going to call this test, save. When I do that, it's going to bring up a warning. And if I click on more, I can navigate to it'll take me to a website this is the website it'll take you to. And if you scroll down, you'll be able to install the plugin needed to install in Substance Painter. So I feel like it's a little bit tricky to find. I'll try to leave a link to it. You can see here's the file, and you have to save it in a very particular location. That way, when you launch Substance Painter, it has the correct way to export it back to Substance Painter. And I'll talk more about that when we get into Substance Painter. So if you don't have that installed, you'd have to go ahead and do that. If you do, you can just click OK. Now I'm ready to go to Substance Painter. So I'm in here, Substance Painter. I'll go to File, New. I'll just leave this at PBR Metallic Roughness Alpha Blend. Doesn't really matter. I'll click Select, and then I'll go find my OBJ. Here it is. This is just a quick test. I'm going to set this to 2048. Leave this at UV Tile. Click OK. Okay. Here it is. I can see over here. I have all the different, characteristics of the character. Here's the skin head, and I'm just going to go ahead and try painting on this. So I'm just going to add just kind of a real obvious color like this. Okay, cool. Now I can see that it'll be very obvious if this works or not. So if I go back here, let's take a look at this. Okay. I can see in here, when it exported, it saved all these folders, which corresponded to these texture sets. And one of them, which we're focusing on now, is skin head. And if I open that up, I can see that these are all the files for the skin head. And I can see here, this is the head, then it looks like the torso, the arms, legs, etc. Now, when I save the file, okay, when I export out of Substance, I want to overwrite these files. Okay, that's why it's going to work back in Substance Painter. I'm sorry, in Character Creator. But what you'll have to notice is that these are all JPEGs, except for the normal map is the PNG, okay? So when I overwrite them, I want it to be the same thing. So I want the normal map to be PNGs and all the rest to be JPEGs, okay? So the other thing is I want only ambient occlusion, diffuse, normal, and roughness. So let's go ahead and export this out. So if I go to File, Export Textures, I'm going to go ahead and turn off everything except for skin head, because that's all I'm testing right now. And if I click on this, I can see that, well, it's doing all the tiles, which there's 6 of these tiles. Okay, so that's good. But actually, before I do that, I should set it to where it's saving it to. So if I come here, I'm going to CC Substance Test. It's important that I click on this master folder. I don't want to click on this folder. I want to click out here and click Select. Okay, that's important. And then I'm going to come here. I'm going to select this to Character Creator. Okay, now most of them were JPEGs, so I'm going to set it to JPEG. Then if I come here, all of these are going to be at default JPEG. However, normal we said was PNG, so I'm going to go here, switch that to PNG. Now I only want diffuse, normal, ambient occlusion, and roughness. So I'm going to hide all the other ones. So now I have just the 4, all JPEGs except for the normal, only skin head. I can see that it's going to the correct location. I'm going to call it the master folder, and output template is character creator. I'm going to click on export. Now we're going to see if that actually worked. So if I come here, okay, aha, it looks like it overrode them. Okay, so that's good. That looks good. Let's try bringing it back to character creator. So if I come into character creator, I can go like this. Normally, you would have to go over here. This is where the textures live. Okay, all the materials. And then you'd have to like kind of replace them one by one, you know, and then click on the body and then replace that, da, 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 da. But we can actually just go like this, update textures from Substance Painter. Now, what's cool about this is I can just simply click on the folder. Now this time, I'm not going to click on the master folder. I have to go in here and click on this folder, okay? And now I'm going to click on select folder, and it should just automatically update and plug everything in place. Aha, good. So we know that that worked. So we've got the workflow down. Now let's talk about how to get the skin textures from Substance Painter so we can kind of like, from Character Creator, so we can kind of paint on top of that. So I'm going to undo that, Control Z. And now I'm going to go ahead and just kind of create some new folders. So that was our test. We no longer need that. I'm just going to go ahead and delete that. I'm going to create a new folder, and I'm going to call this CC skin. And I'm also going to do another folder called CC skin backup. Okay, just in case something goes wrong, we'd have a backup of the skin. So I'm just going to kind of export these out twice. So I'm going to go export character substance painter. And I'm going to say, hey, let's do it to the skin folder. And I'm going to call this, skin. I'll click it. Okay, save. And then I'm going to export one more time. And again, this one's just optional. Here's the skin backup. I'm going to call this skin backup. And let's see what we have here. So here's the skin. I can see there it is. And the skin backup, there it is. And if I look at the skin, these actually should be the same. Here they are. Those are the files that we know. Okay, good. Now, now what do we do in Substance Painter? So I feel like the tricky part is how do we bring it in here? So I'm just going to go File, New. Okay, we'll leave this alone. Go here. And then I'm going to go, here's the skin. Aha, there's the OBJ. Open this up. 2048 UV tile workflow. Click OK. Okay, good. Now we're in here. Again, Alt left mouse click, Alt middle. Here we go. I'm going to go ahead and hide everything. Again, of course, you could paint on these if you want to and change it, whatever you need. And by the way, if you wanted to hide anything, you would just turn off the eyeball here, and then that would hide or show. But I'm going to just kind of minimize everything except for the skin head. And here are the 6 UV tiles, okay, that we need to have. Now, here's the tricky part is how do we bring those files and then place them correctly on those tiles in Substance Painter? Well, let's take a look at that. So what I'll do is I'm going to come down here in the assets area and click on this plus sign, and I'm going to say add resource. Now, what resource am I going to add? Well, I'm going to go into the skin, and I'm going to go into here, and then I'm going to grab all of this. So I'm going to select the first one, shift all the way down to the bottom, press shift, and click open. Now, I'm going to click on this first one, and then all the way down here. Notice I'm clicking here, not in here. Okay, I'll call this like character, or I'll just call this CC. Okay, and then I'm going to say texture. Okay, CC for character creator, and then I'm going to click import. I'm also going to say only for current session. Okay, good. Now, I can see here they all are, and when I put CC in, okay, I can just, if I didn't have anything here, if I just typed in CC, it should bring up just my stuff. Uh-oh, so it looks like it didn't. Okay, so let me just bring that in real quick again. So I'm going to say add resource. I think CC wasn't specific enough. Okay, so I'm going to go like this. So this is basically a keyword to find it. You know, I could say custom, and then I'm going to say texture, and then import. Okay, cool. So there they all are. And then I could type in custom, and then it would come up. But I'll just leave it here. Now, okay, so now the tricky part is how do we get these files? Like, how do I get the face file here, the torso file there, etc., etc., etc. Well, here's how we're going to do it. I'm going to go into layers here. And in layers, I don't want to have a paint layer. Okay, so I'm going to delete that. I need a fill layer. Okay, this one here. And this fill layer is going to be really important. I'm going to call this face because that's going to be the first one here. Then if I come down here, I'm going to say, what do I want? I want, okay, this one's AO. Again, I don't have AO in my list here. So if that's the case, I'm going to come up here to texture settings, click on the plus sign, and add ambient occlusion. Okay, now I have AO in the list. Okay, so I need AO, I need diffuse, which is color, I need normal, which I have right there, and I need roughness. Okay, I also need opacity. So again, if I don't have opacity, I would go here, click on the plus sign, and choose opacity. The other thing is if it says unsupported by shader, you could put opacity in. And if that was the case, you would need to go into your shader and you would need to choose a shader that supports opacity. And this one, PBR metal roughness with alpha blending, that does support opacity. Then you'd be able to select that. So again, I know that gets a little technical, but I'm just going to go ahead and turn off or turn on everything that I need. So color, roughness, normal, and ambient occlusion. Those are the four that I really need for the face. So now I can just go to the, here's the color, drag it on. Here's the roughness. Here's the normal. Here's the ambient occlusion. And if we look here, I can see that the face obviously went on the face correctly, but it also went on all these other ones. Okay, and it's like, what the heck is going on here? Well, what's happening is it's repeating automatically on all of those. So instead of it repeating automatically on all of them, I'm going to tell it to only go in this first quadrant. So if I click on this thing right here, I can uncheck all the other quadrants that it's not supposed to go on. Now I can see it only went on the first quadrant. So if I go to the next one here, I'm going to add a fill layer. I'm going to call this one torso. Okay, now I'm going to say, what do I need? I need color, roughness, normal, and ambient occlusion. And then I'm going to go ahead and kind of carefully place them. And again, it doesn't matter what order you do this. Okay, there we go. And again, I have to go here, and then I have to tell it to only be that quadrant. Okay, good. And then I'm going to go to the next one. And this one's arms. Okay. And again, color, roughness, normal, AO. And then here's arms. And again, okay, I'm just going to kind of zoom out here. And then this one is legs. Actually, I think I put the wrong files on the arms, I believe. So if I come back here, if that's the case, I can click on this. These are the arms. So you got to be careful. There we go. Now, again, if I go to legs from here. Looks like this one is 4. Next one looks like nails. So the normal is always going to be the purple one. And the gray one's always going to be roughness. And the white one's always going to be ambient occlusion. And the color one's always going to be the color one. And if you didn't know, you could just kind of hover over these and it would tell you. Okay. And now I'm going to go to the last one. I think the last one is eyelashes. Yeah, there we go. So okay, cool. And on the eyelashes, it's special because it has opacity. So I'm going to make sure opacity is checked. And it looks like, I don't think it has AO, it has roughness, normal, I believe. Okay, so, and color. Okay, cool. I think that's all of them. Looks like this one doesn't have roughness. There we go. Now I have to tell this one. Okay, great. Now I can see all of them. I'm going to create a paint layer now. So if I add a new layer, now I should have all of the skin in its full glory on here. Okay. If I hold down Shift and right mouse click, I can kind of move around and it should have all the maps on there. If I wanted to see them individually, kind of collectively, I could go here and I could say, I want to see the roughness map. Okay. I want to see the normal map. I want to see the, just the base color. Okay. So you can see that I think all of them are working. Okay. That's pretty cool. So that is kind of step one. Just kind of getting it all into Substance Painter clean. Now what we can do is kind of the fun part, is do whatever we want, right? So I'm going to get out of this. I'm just going to go to my paint, or maybe I'll go to my alphas. And let's say if I wanted to give a tattoo, okay? Let's say if I look here, let's see here. Yeah, maybe this one has a tattoo. I could double click. And now I could say, what do I want? Okay, so I'm just going to call this tattoo. And now if I come down here, I'm going to say, what color do I want this tattoo? Maybe I want it to be black. Okay. And then do I want roughness? Do I want it to be shiny? No, I don't want it to be shiny. You can see I can choose how shiny I want it to be. Do I want it to stick up or not? Nah, I don't want it to stick up. So I'm just going to kind of go like this. Okay, cool. And I can see that I've got a tattoo there. Okay, that looks cool. Let's say if I wanted, I don't know, like a cut or something. What I could do is this. I could find a brush. Okay. And then I could say, so maybe I do a new layer, a new paint layer. I'm going to call this one cut. Okay. And now I want that cut to look, if I come here, red. Okay. And I want it to be shiny red, like kind of a fresh cut. And I also want to go dig in a little bit. So I'm going to go to normal and height. And I'm going to say height, I'm going to go left of center, and that's going to kind of bring it down. And now if I go like this, okay, I can see that, ooh, we got some road rash there going on. And I can see how it looks wet and it's digging in. And I can see that it's just automatically going to where it needs to go. Now, what's interesting is that what if it went past this line? Okay, so if it goes like this, if it goes past that line, I can see it automatically just goes to the next one here. Okay, so it's just seamless. You're not going to see a seam if you paint across, and you could do whatever you want on here, right? You could do whatever you wanted to do, cuts, alterations, however you want to do it, you know, change the makeup, whatever you want to do. But let's say if I'm happy with this, okay, now I'm going to go ahead and send it back to Character Creator. So I'm going to go like this, File, Export Textures. Again, we know the routine. I'm going to turn all this off. Oh, let's see. Okay, and I'm going to go, actually I want to make sure that I'm here, and I'm going to go to, again, the master folder, the CC Skin. I don't want to click on that one. I want to click on this one. I want to make sure that this is set to, yep, you guessed it, character creator. I'm going to set all of them to JPEG because we know that we need all JPEGs except for normal. So I'm going to go PNG. There we go. And we do need opacity this time because I've got opacity for the eyelashes. So I'll just go ahead and leave that. So diffuse, opacity, normal, AO. I don't need metallic. I don't need glow, and I don't need that one. I can see it's also doing all the UV tiles. We're good. Let's go ahead and hit export. Okay. Before I go in, I'm going to go ahead and check this. CC skin, head. And I can see there's the cut and the tattoo. It looks like it overrode the files correctly, so that's good. I do have one thing I should mention. I do have extra opacity maps. You can see that because this is the only opacity I need. So, you know, hopefully that didn't screw anything up. If it did, I could just delete those, but I feel like, actually, I think I might delete them. I'm just going to go here like this and delete these opacities out of here. There we go. Now I have it exactly as it was, and we should be able to come in Substance or Character Creator just nice and clean. So now I'm going to go back to Character Creator, and let's go ahead and bring this in, see if we get the tattoo and the scar. Substance Painter, update. This time, I'm going to go in here and click on this folder. Again, that's important. I can't click on the other folder. I have to click on this one, and I'm going to say select folder. And it's going to update. Okay, cool. Take a look at this. So I feel like we've got success. We've got the tattoo and the scar. And I can see that the scar has all the wetness, the shininess, you know, the digging in. And this one's got the cool color. It looks like tattoo. Now, again, I know this isn't a very exciting like result, if you will, of that, but I feel like that back and forth between Character Creator and Substance Painter, that's really what I wanted to show. And if you want to know how to do like more complex painting, I've got Substance Painter creature painting tutorial that kind of walk you through how to do a lot more cool stuff in Substance Painter. But hopefully that was helpful. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. All right, thanks guys.